What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Forever Love YouTube channel. My name is Artis Anderson, and I am a relationship and marriage consultant. I help unmarried people get married, and I help married people stay married. Listen, I'm married to a beautiful woman by the name of Zadoria Anderson, and we own a company called Forever Love. We work with single clients, dating clients, and married clients. But if you need relationship or marriage consulting or counseling, you can reach us at tryforeverlove.com. That's TRY, the number four, everlove.com. And be sure to follow us everywhere at Try Forever Love. That's TRY, the number four, ever love. All right, let's get into this topic today. If he is cheating on you, do this. Part one. I know this is a difficult subject, and finding out that someone is betraying you is not easy at all. And I know some of the advice I'm gonna give in this part one is going to um touch some people, help some people. And I realize that some people they're going to ignore it, you know. But I want to do my best to really help you. And so let's get right into it. Number one, emotional regulation is a must. All right. You need to prioritize your composure over your reaction. You need to prioritize your composure over your reaction. Don't just react to the situation, process it. Okay. Process the situation. Research has shown that it's very common for people to have emotional responses to infidelity. And what ends up happening is they react out of character, they react irrationally, they make really bad decisions in the moment. And research and data shows that wives tend to regret their impulsive behavior, their impulsive actions, versus taking the time to process the situation. And I know for some people, that's very difficult. But I'm encouraging you to really, 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 really hear me out. Before confronting your man or your husband, and before making any decisions, give yourself some space and time to think clearly. I know your impulse and your reaction is to confront, get answers, ask questions, but it's not that you can't do that. You just want to make sure you don't do that first. You need to take some time to process, okay? Don't just react, don't just respond. Take some time to actually process, right? Because the thing is, you want to avoid lashing out. You want to avoid making rash decisions, okay? You want to process the best you can within the state of the initial shock or the initial emotions, because you don't want to make a decision that later you will regret, because it happens all the time. I have clients where they might find out that their boyfriend or their husband is cheating, and they fly off the handle and break stuff, tear up stuff, show up at the job, act a fool in front of family and friends in public, and it's just not wise to do that. Again, I understand that it's hard not to do it, but here's what I'm trying to encourage you to do. Instead of that, take some time to process it. Take time to calm yourself down. Whether this means stepping away from the situation, whether it means going somewhere and journaling your feelings, whether it's talking to somebody you trust, like a confidant or a counselor or a coach, a family member, or some level of source of authority, and processing your emotions privately, so that when it's time to approach and address the matter, you can do it with clarity and you can do it with some sense of self control. Because here's the key: you need to be gathering information before you do anything, because gathering information allows you to get full context and full understanding. Now, some of y'all might be thinking, what's there to understand? They're cheating. I listen, I'm not knocking that. I'm not against you, okay? I get it. But what I'm saying is, you want to understand the context, the details, the situation, the dynamics as much as you can. You want to understand it, okay? Because acting on incomplete or misunderstood information or acting on um information that's not complete can lead to premature and misguided decisions, right? Understanding the why, the how, the what is crucial before determining your course of action. Now, I understand also that you're not going to always get all the answers you need before confronting. But what I am saying is that time that you take to process initially allows you to think of some of the things you might want to ask. It allows you to process and figure out some of the things you want to deal with instead of dealing with something else. Because what I've seen is too, when people confront their significant other initially without processing, they tend to attack the situation with conversations and questions that are not the most important. And what ends up happening is things get very muddy and very cloudy. Okay. You want to ask the right questions. You want to have the right conversation and talk about the right things. And hear me out for a second. When you approach the conversation, I encourage you to focus less on how you feel. Because typically when a person is focusing on how they feel, they're being driven by what they feel and how they feel, whether it's the hurt, the betrayal, the shock, no matter whatever the feeling is. But it's important that you ask the right questions and attack the right part of the conversation. Focusing on the facts and the motivations of their actions instead of accusations. And I know it's hard, but it's possible. When it's time to approach and when you're ready to approach the conversation, you want to make sure that you have information. You want to make sure that you have facts. You want to make sure that you have more than just accusations, right? And you want to determine whether or not this is a one-time thing, an ongoing pattern, or a deeper issue in the relationship or in the marriage. Now let me bring some let me bring some stability to this conversation. If you find out that he's cheating, right? You might already have some of these answers. You might already have some of the clarifying information. But sometimes when you approach your significant other with this information, if you do it the wrong way, you give them and I don't want to sound okay. What I don't want to do is lead you into a manipulative way of approaching it, but sometimes it's going to sound like that regardless. But hear me out. What I want you to do is this: approach the situation calm and collected. I also want you to understand that there may be because everybody's different. There may be a situation where when you approach with information, facts, context that they might avoid, that they might deflect, that they might do various things to change the topic or whatever the case may be, right? But here's the thing. This is part of the reason why you took time first, because you want to be prepared for these types of situations. You don't want their response, their reaction, their neglect, their deflection to cause you to get even more frustrated and angry, right? Now, keep in mind, everybody's different. If you're in this situation, you might be with somebody who's very forthcoming and very honest and very transparent, and they might give you all the answers they need. They might give you all of the, opportunity to ask questions and get the answers, and that's beautiful. And for some people, you might have somebody who's deflective or defensive or changes the subject or doesn't take accountability, right? But when you approach the person, what you want to be able to do is say, hey, listen, can you explain this text message? Hey, can you explain this phone call? Hey, can you explain this picture? I don't want to just yell at you or cuss you out or fuss you out. I want to talk to you, adult to adult, and really get some answers because I am angry. I am frustrated. I am disappointed. I am whatever the case may be, but I want answers. So that's how you want to approach it, right? That's how you want to approach the situation. You want to, how can I say it? You want to make sure, and I know this sounds crazy, but you want to make sure that they feel comfortable as possible so that you can get the answers that you need. And I know that sounds crazy because yes, in this moment, if you've been betrayed, if you've been cheated on, if you have been done wrong, it should be all about you. But that's just not always the case. And that's just being honest, right? But being self-controlled, being calm is going to help you more than anything else, right? So again, let me get back to this point. You want to ask the right questions. What you want to do is be mature in the situation, right? And when you come to the table and you have this conversation and you confront the individual that you're in a relationship with or married to, that you have all the information possible so that there is no way that this conversation can go unanswered, no way it can be deflected, and then you can get very, very clear answers about what you need about the situation, right? Um, like I said earlier, whether this is a one-time thing, an ongoing thing, or whether or not this is a reaction from a situation that happened earlier in the relationship or the marriage, right? And so what you don't also you want to approach this with a long-term perspective, right? When you approach this situation, focus on what you want, not just how you feel. You want answers like any person would. So again, just to reiterate, in this part one of this, you want to have emotional regulation. You need to process. You need to take some time to process so that when you come to the point of confrontation and getting the answers you need, that you focus on what you want and what the outcome is, whether that is to get answers, whether that is to strengthen your relationship, whatever it may be, right? The point is, you cannot focus on how you feel. Your immediate emotions might not align with your long-term goals in terms of what you need out of this confrontation. So when you approach the situation, you got to think about that, right? You might be approaching the conversation realizing that, you know what? Even though I know I found information that he's cheating on me, I know I'm not leaving this relationship. So if that is the case, and you got to be honest with yourself, number one thing I tell a lot of people, you got to be honest with yourself. If you are going to stay in the relationship or the marriage anyway, it would benefit you to remain calm and approach the situation with clarity so that you can get what you need. So you got to approach the conversation focusing on what you want, not just how you feel. Because again, your immediate emotions might not align with what you want long term, which might be to stay in the relationship and make it work and try to fix it. So you have to make sure that you don't make the situation worse because your rash decisions and rash emotions will have consequences. And sometimes those consequences are hard to reverse. And here's the truth. Sometimes the person who gets cheated on ends up making a bad decision out of their emotions, making the situation worse. And then all of a sudden, you're no longer the victim. They are also a victim because you smashed their window, broke their something in the house, assaulted them, or whatever the case may be. So now it's no longer about what you need. Now you've taken the focus off of you and your hurt and your pain and your betrayal and your disappointment. And now you've made a situation where both of y'all have to take center stage, not just you. The thing is this: none of this situation is easy. None of it is easy. But all I'm trying to encourage you to do is this. If you find out that he's been cheating on you, the first thing you need to do is to regulate your emotions. Take some time to process, not react. Gather more information. Really think about what you want to say when you confront him and talk to him, and really decide what you want, and don't focus on how you feel. And lastly, I said this earlier, but be honest. Be transparent. If you know you still want to be with him, don't waste time lying to yourself, trying to look tough, act hard, be stubborn. Don't do that. You're just going to waste your time. If you know you're going to stay in a relationship anyway, then approach the conversation and be very clear. Hey, listen, I still want to be with you. Now, your pride is not going to let you admit that to him, but I'm encouraging you to drop your pride. Now, for everybody else, if you really genuinely don't know if you still want that relationship and you just need answers, that's fine. Approach the conversation and get the answers you need, and then take some time to think about it. What you don't want to do is still be the girlfriend, going to the house every day, going on dates, Netflix and chilling, and you haven't really dealt with the fact that you're still hurt and bitter and mad and frustrated and disappointed, etc. But you still la 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 la, like the girl, like the happy girlfriend, and then you causing arguments every day, and now he confused because he thought you forgave him because you acting like the happy go lucky girlfriend, but you still really mad. Don't go back and forth like that. Now, if you're married, it is very much more difficult. But I would encourage you also, don't walk around like everything's peachy. And I'm not telling you to be confrontational. I'm not encouraging you to have an attitude or cold shoulder. I'm not encouraging you to be ice cold, hot, unpredictable. What I'm saying is be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Remain transparent in your communication about where you are. But if you are not where you need to be, if you have not gotten the answers you needed, if you are still processing, that's fine. But don't Monday you good, Tuesday you mad, Wednesday you good, Thursday you mad. Don't do that. That's not healthy. It's not wise. But lastly, I want to read the scripture. Proverbs 29 verse 11 says this: a fool vents all his feelings, but a wise man holds them back. Now I'm talking to my women, so let me switch it up a little bit. A fool vents all of her feelings, but a wise woman holds them back. What's the point? There's something about taking ownership of yourself, your emotions, your feelings in the moment, despite how you may feel, and realizing that just flat out venting and yelling and as they say today, crashing out and breaking stuff, cussing out, making a scene, that's just not wise. A fool vents all of their feelings. Don't be a fool. Be wise. Contain yourself, contain your emotions. Understand that this is a hurtful situation and that everything you do from here on out will be critical to everything, present and future. Okay? You don't want to end up in jail. You don't want to end up with a charge and none of that crazy stuff. But approach him after you've taken some time to reflect and after you've taken some time to process. All right. All right. Listen, I appreciate I appreciate you all for listening. I hope this has been helpful. Make sure you subscribe and like and comment, and we'll see you next time for part 2. Watch how we flipping it. Watch how we living it. Watch how we winning it. Watch. Yeah. Watch. Yeah. Watch. Yeah. Watch.